I came on to talk to you about my last um, Substack post. It's called The Commodity of Spirituality. And it is the second part. The first part, I didn't have the heart to continue writing because I was deep in prayer and grief about Palestine and watching innocent children be killed and starved to death on purpose. And I just, I grew up watching this kind of stuff on TV. So I am deeply affected by what happens in the world. It breaks my heart to see these things still happening when we really do have the money to save everyone, to feed everyone, to house everyone. And the fact that there are people nitpicking about social services of any kind, and even more so complaining about helping the world when we fund wars all the time. The United States funds wars all the time. We are responsible and complicit for all of that. And to hear people complain about, feeding others and caring for others and covering the cost of medical expenses and college, it's deplorable. And I think in a time when spirituality has gotten very popular and trendy, and we see how spirituality is for sale, people's gifts, spiritual gifts are for sale. Um, I wanted to talk about it, and I love this world. I have gifts, and I guess some people could say some of those gifts are for sale. As a practitioner, I charge for my sessions, obviously. And so it's nuanced. This conversation is very nuanced because I'm for it and I'm not for it. I think that there's a right way to be in relationship with the things that are happening in the world and the gifts that we have. And specifically, what I'm criticizing is, the high use of plant medicine and the bypassing we do when we sit in a ceremony that has absolutely nothing to do with its original tradition or with any of its original keepers, original medicine keepers. So my big criticism is about, you know, everybody wanting to do the latest thing, combo, ayahuasca, bufo, even cacao. When we think of cacao ceremonies and we think about companies, it's just so complicated. The commodity of spirituality, like cacao is bought and sold on the New York Stock Exchange. It is sugared down and put into almost everything. The byproducts of cacao are used in beauty products, and cacao farmers make less than $2 a day. And chocolate is a really big industry. And when you sit in a cacao ceremony and they tell you that, this is like ceremonial grade, there's a company that is still paying a farmer really low. And these farmers are so, behold, like they can't even do anything. I don't even know how to say it correctly, but it's like no one is making the money that they should make. And no one who's truly profiting is sharing with original keepers. No one is really being reciprocal. Hello, love. No one is being reciprocal with original medicine keepers. Um, a lot of times it's people of color too. It's like us who are born and raised in the US, but still using that as an excuse to serve medicines. And a lot of times they're serving medicines that aren't even their own. Like it's not even what your grandmother served or your great great grandmother served. It has nothing to do with where you come from and more to do with a trend and people turning a profit on that trend. And I think that in a lot of ways, what people are doing when they go to plant ceremonies is they call it healing, but it's really just another way to party and bypass. Because the only way to really change your life is to change yourself. And that's a really hard thing to do. And nobody wants to be responsible for the choices that they've made and then make new choices because that's powerful medicine. That's actually the most powerful medicine that exists. And it's available at no cost for each and every one of us to just choose to show up differently and to choose to be the best version of yourself little by little over time. Instead, people want to go sit and commodify sacred practices so that they can say they're brand new. Like you go sit with ayahuasca with some white dude in California and then say that you're healed. Not really. Not really. And no one's buying it anymore because the world is literally burning. We are learning that our governments are organized criminals. And there's no amount of plant medicine, anything that will change that unless we're willing to take action. And so for the moment, I've decided to be resistant to all of that, you know? And I've sat in a couple of ceremonies this summer and I had a really beautiful revelation in my friend's ceremony. I believe in her medicine and I'm lucky to have friends who really do the work and who practice having discipline, who are sober, who do things respectfully and not for money. And it's okay that we earn money. I don't want it to seem like we don't want to earn money. We all want to earn money. We all deserve to earn money. But it's a little dirty. It's a little dirty. Anyway, in my last Substack, I criticized this and I hope that it's constructive because I don't want to attack anyone. I don't want to be ever attacked. And it's not my intention, but it is about time for us to open our eyes about who we are, how we are doing things, and how absolutely ass backwards it is that we, want to call ourselves stewards of the land and activists and healers, but, you know, do everything contrary to that. Like, still shop on Amazon, you know, still patronize businesses that are just horrible and disgusting and still worship billionaires. Like when I see a healer and she's just like so ambitious about becoming a millionaire, to me, it's like, it's something to look at. It's something to look at, I think, because most people who are suffering and who care about the suffering in the world are looking at billionaires and going, why aren't you helping people? Like, why aren't you giving some of your billions back, billions and millions back? Why isn't that happening? And so when you look at a healer striving to be a millionaire, it feels like you're caught up in that patriarchal system. You're caught up in capitalism. And once upon a time, to be a healer, to be a witch, to be a medicine person was to go against that completely. It was like to live in the jungle and to dedicate your life to stewarding the land and to helping people heal through the spirits in the plants because you have a dong, a gift to communicate with the spirits of the plants and to help people integrate the information that comes after a plant medicine journey and to help them understand what things mean and to bridge the ancient cosmology with like life, like 3D material life, and to help people make sense of it all. And it's just I don't know where all of that went. And you try to find your place in it and bro, you try to find your place in that whole mess and it's like I'm unclear. I'm completely unclear what it is people are doing and why it is I'm sitting in certain spaces and why I'm still, giving my money to things that are so fake. And I'm sure this will come to a head at some point, I'll be able to mature these thoughts and these curiosities. But I really believe in myself. I really believe in what I'm writing about. So I write about being single and happy and really what that means is that I write about my personal life because it's my it's my guiding mantra, single and happy, to be on your own, to stand on your own 2 feet, to get to know yourself, to love yourself, to grow, to not be the version that you used to be, but to evolve and to become a stronger, more aligned version of self. And so all the things that happen in my life are something to share. So I don't know. I don't know if any of this is making any sense, but I urge you to, wash your dishes peacefully. Like when you get up in the morning, do you give thanks for your life? Do you make your bed? Do you brush your teeth? Before you go to sleep at night, do you wash the dishes? Do you tell your loved ones you love them? Like, what does your life look like? What does your money look like? What does your job life look like? What is your personal life? How are you doing? And to start making choices that align with the future that you want instead of investing all of your money on commodifying and exploiting sacred practices. Anyway, tell me what you think of the commodity of spirituality. So there's a part one and there's a part two. Let me know what you think of part two. Part two I just called continued. So you'll find it in my post as continued. Let me know what you think of it. And if you have feelings about it, respond. I'm not trying to attack anyone. I am just looking. I'm looking and I'm asking questions and I'm curious. What good will it do? What good will another high do if in the end all you are doing is escaping a life that would really benefit from you getting radically responsible and accountable for your own behavior and your own choices, and then choosing differently and living differently so that it's in line with what you really, truly want and what you really, truly believe. And I believe that we can have what we want and we desire. I believe that I can have what I want and what I desire. And I believe that goodness is coming our way. But it's going to take something. And it might be the fight of our lives. Okay. Thanks for listening. Bye.